Congratulations, my children, for arriving here safely. Particularly you, Fuzzy. I see you there. You are my child now. As is you, Yavik and Big Swede. You are all my children, and you have gotten to this stream, which is an achievement in and of itself, since Susan is currently in the middle of re-evaluating the algorithm. Basically, everyone I know today that does YouTube, we've been talking in our super secret conspiracy chat, and everyone's been seeing massive and sudden drops in numbers of views on streams and everything. So, congratulations, you have defeated Susan, if only temporarily.
For real? He's like, I've talked to all the YouTubers ever, and yet here I am, not hearing a word or a peep about this. I see favoritism. And this is why Susan has decided to favor me over you. Because I'm small and insignificant.
You're a Twitch streamer.
My numbers go up. Your numbers go down. I see only one victor here. Soon, you'll be my vassal. It'll be Kib's cast, and then it'll be Barch as my little companion, my little henchman, my little minion. Yes, I think this is a good change of pace.
It may be that Susan has simply finally noticed the Lotus Eaters, as Sargon has posted screenshots of videos performing weirdly. Rags has experienced it. V is currently experiencing it. So perhaps it is merely our side of the fence that is being trimmed. It is very possible.
Clearly, Kibbs' side of this particular fence is very well watered, very well loved. How does it feel? I'm the favored son of Susan. That's kind of funny. Arch sitting there fuming, like, I wish I was favorite.
But Susan aside, for a moment at least, there's some TV shows going on, and they're doing the exact same thing, and it's probably going to just keep happening for a while now. The subverting of expectations idiocy has spread like a cancer throughout entertainment. And well, you've actually posted some articles. Well, or articles. You haven't been, smart enough to get actual articles, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that because there is at least something that has happened recently that did not subvert expectations.
Was that Hayden Christensen?
No, V Rising and Age of Empires 3.
The things I posted. They have subverted expectations. Yes. And it is surprising. That's the positive things. You want to talk about those first or save those for later? For a happy note on the end.
They haven't subverted expectations. That's what you meant to say, you little munchkin.
What? I don't care what words mean. They don't matter. All that matters is that they're doing well, apparently. That's the shocker. Especially the Age of Empires 3 expansion. Like, I looked at that and was like, wait, that's doing well? Picked it up and I was like, hey, this is actually kind of neat. That's weird. It
doesn't surprise me in the slightest.
It's just, well, it does a little bit for me, because Microsoft games, but to be fair, it's not only Microsoft games working on it, because it's a different company, so maybe other companies a little bit more competent.
It has more to do with the fact that it's simply delivering what people wanted, which is a weird rarity in this day and age.
It is, and it's it's a good change for a pace because it's good to have a couple wins here and there, not all losses across the board.
Now we've got two shows, which we've been talking about both of them, and both of them are committing the exact same error in the exact same way. So I wanted to start with this article right here, just because of the headline. Obi-Wan Kenobi twist finally does justice to a classic Star Wars character. She is just as important as he is. And it continues to say, everyone expected Obi-Wan Kenobi to be about Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I don't know why. Why would anyone expect Obi-Wan Kenobi to be about Obi-Wan Kenobi?
I don't know. It just has the character's name on it. It'd be like if we went to the first Iron Man when it came out, and he's in there briefly, and then it's about somebody else. It's like, okay. But this is something we've seen quite a bit, where they use the name of a more popular character to try to pitch a new character on us. But in this case, not a new character, a new interpretation of an old beloved character.
It's not even necessarily the interpretation. It's the switch in focus. As this article points it out here, and it's gushing, of course, because it's mainstream media, but they're talking about Leia Organa and how she's suddenly there. And the entire plot is about Leia Organa. The entire plot is Leia. I mean, Obi-Wan has no agency in the first episode. None whatsoever. He's working at the tuna factory. He is hiding. He's doing his best. He's just being alone and sad, and that is literally it. And then Leia Organa is kidnapped. And her parents decide to put Obi-Wan and his entire mission in mortal jeopardy by personally visiting him to force him to go looking for Leia.
Basically, yeah. I mean, the thing is, Obi-Wan already has a story. I don't know if you know this, but there's a book called Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's already a thing. They established, I believe, in 2012, 2013, or was it 2015? No, 2012, I believe. And it's about Obi-Wan Kenobi's exile. But the thing is, Disney decanonized everything else so that they could redo it and resell it. I've also seen a lot about a lot of plot holes that people have been pointing out with the Inquisitors and stuff about how everything's happening. But it's just really bad. To be fair, the Inquisitors are a terrible idea to begin with, but, you know, details. Disney lore aside.
Yeah, see, I don't even care about the plot holes anymore, because it's Disney. Like, it's plot holes. Like, okay, a piece of cloth falls, the Jedi escapes the Inquisitors. I just shrug. That's all I do. Obi-Wan saves Leia falling from the roof, and then is instantly on the ground to meet her seconds after. I simply shrug. It's just Disney. And these are minor annoyances that can be ignored in a better product. Like, okay, Jedi escapes. If that wasn't a main thing, if that wasn't a main event, you'd forget about it 2 seconds later. The problem is, it is the entire character, the escaped Jedi who meets Obi-Wan randomly in the desert somehow. It's like, Master, like, how the fuck did you find me? And is then strung up by the Inquisitors. There was no point in that. There was no reason for his character to exist. There was no reason for his character to get away. If you actually wanted to establish the Inquisitors as a genuine threat, they could at least have caught him.
Yeah, but his death was more so... His death was on purpose to be like one of the many things ticking against Obi-Wan.
It was there to make Obi feel sad.
That is literally his purpose on screen. He's there to make Obi-Wan feel sad, not even to make the Inquisitors feel threatening. Because all he succeeded in doing is make the Inquisitors look incompetent. Which is quite funny.
Obi sad frowns.
Obi mopes.
Obi mopes is another good one. And so people were already talking about a blatant, swap, flip to begin with, like bait and switch, where they're like, okay, Obi-Wan's going to be a side character in the show. They're going to focus on Black Jedi, Inquisitor, Sith person, whatever the hell. I don't even think that's what they're going for here. They are going for a complete sidestep of Skywalker instead, is what I think. Because Skywalker shows up for 5 seconds in the first episode, and he's never seen again. And the entire mission of protecting him is just set aside. It's unimportant. Leia is far more important, to the point, again, where Leia's parents are more than willing to risk Obi-Wan's life, position, and mission to get him to save her.
Yep, which is a bit contradictory, considering what happens at the end of the Revenge of the Sith, where they establish a plan with Organa, Bail Organa, and Obi-Wan and Yoda. Obi-Wan's gonna look after Luke, and it's up to the Organas to look after Leia. The Organas have already failed in their task by simply just giving up altogether and just being like, Obi-Wan, do it. Obi-Wan, do it. Obi-Wan, do it. It's like, oh my god.
And I want to point out here as well, the Organas are royalty. They have armies. Okay? There is no reason for them to force Obi-Wan to do this. None. Zero zip, nil schnull. There is no point. Hell, you know what? They could literally go to the Imperial Senate. They could literally go to the Inquisitors themselves and ask for them to look for her. Because nobody Not a single solitary soul suspects that she is Darth Vader's fucking child.
Yep.
No one.
All they know is that she's an Organa. She was adopted, but she's one of the royals, and she is the heiress to be of what Bail Organa has established on Alderaan. So, if anything, helping them find their daughter would be a good political move to gain favor and brownie points with the Organas, which are a known family to cause a bit of a thorn, so to speak, when it comes to the Imperial Senate.
Yeah, it's stupid. And again, the only reason why this is happening is because we can't have a story about Obi-Wan. And this tells you everything you need to know about Disney. Disney are looking at this and going, okay, how can we get people to watch? Well, everybody loves Ewan McGregor, right? Okay, so we make Obi-Wan. Cool. People are like, oh, Obi-Wan, that'll be interesting. Already people were asking, like, hold on, how interesting will it really be to watch Obi-Wan babysit for 10, 20 years? Well, maybe it wouldn't be. Maybe they just have to add in more pointless garbage, more bait and switch like this. Maybe, in fact, the entire point of this is to do to Obi-Wan what they have done to Luke, to build him down, to deconstruct him and replace him with other characters. In this case, Leia Organa and Black Inquisitor Lady.
Yeah, I'm thinking the thing is that they're going to leave Luke almost completely out of the story, at least for this initial arc. I imagine they will use Luke's character later on, because why wouldn't they? But the thing is, they can't have anything traumatic happen to Luke, because Luke's character is much more established in the cinematic universe, which is what Disney didn't decanonize. So, they can't really do anything crazy with him besides the T-14 toy. Like, that's as crazy it fucking gets.
I'm sure they'll find some way to humiliate him.
It's just like, come on. Why must we... I mean, they've already sabotaged Luke's characters. There's a great video about the sequel trilogy being anti-Lucas, which is inherently anti-Star Wars. And this only seems to be more of that, where it's taking Lucas's vision, and it's just not really adhering to it, and it's doing whatever it wills. Because the writers want to do their own thing. They don't care.
Well, it's subverting expectations. If you take a look at this other article I sent you from Bounding into Comics, which I shill whenever I have a chance because they're a good website, it's about the other series that's been happening recently, which was very highly anticipated in general geekdom, the Halo TV series, which finally arrived after, like, what, 2-3 aborted movies and a video game series-based thing? Like, okay, finally, we've got a Halo TV series. We pretty much all knew what was going to happen. In fact, the moment we heard about the Halo TV series, I called it right then and there. He'll take off the helmet in the first episode. And so it happened. And now there's been a very interesting interview with Pablo Schreiber, not Master Chief, where if you go down to the second picture, where he's standing by the warthog there.
Yep.
The paragraph above that says, the goal of the first season was to break down the character of Master Chief.
And change the relationship between the gamer, who is the usual audience. Yep. See, they've already misunderstood what they're supposed to be doing here. And that was the fatal flaw. In that decision right there, they've already set themselves up for failure because they're not understanding what makes Halo Halo, and instead trying to deconstruct it and change it into something it isn't.
Absolutely. And this is the usual playbook. Just like they're trying to deconstruct Obi-Wan, they are deconstructing Master Chief. Like, look at Obi-Wan in the Star Wars series, right? Like, chat's pointing this out too. Why is Leia so rebellious? She's in the middle of her training to be a royal princess. Like, fair. She was feisty. The actual Leia was feisty, independent-minded, but she was also dignified. She was also a royal. The character we see here is a 10-year-old child that speaks like a 25-year-old with a stick up his ass and has no dignity whatsoever at all.
That's very true. Like, if you look back at the movies, right, you remember Leia, like, she was willing to get dirty, but she was willing to be rough. But remember the original series, and now remember that animation they released not that long ago, where Leia literally kicks her friends, or, well, her allies
Yes.
at that point down the hole, which did not happen in the movie, but she's like kicking them down and shoving them and being violent to them. That just goes to
Grabbing
show.
Luke's gun to shoot the stormtroopers and stuff.
Yep, that just instead of Luke just handing it to her. Like the thing is, that right there was foreshadowing what they were doing to her character. She's an aggressive asshole of a friend. She's no longer this companion character who was a bit annoying, a bit haughty, a bit arrogant because it wrote noble and whatever. She's now just a dick to her friends.
Yep. She is thoroughly unlikable. Thoroughly unlikable. And that's not a good look for a character. Ever. And the same problem we see again. And why is she thoroughly unlikable? Well, we can return to Pablo Schreiber here and see the exact same reason. Now, I listened to this podcast, which they're referring to here, and he sounds like a decent guy. Like, he doesn't strike me as a person who went out to destroy Halo. He strikes me as a person who has no fucking clue what Halo is and cannot wrap his head around why anyone could give a shit about this. And not from a malicious perspective, he simply doesn't understand like why people like Halo, doesn't understand why people like the setting, why they like the character. And so he thinks that he's adding something more valuable to this. Like in his perspective, Master Chief should be something different from the game, because in the game, Master Chief is boring. He's simplistic. He's just Master Chief. He's just the action hero.
Which is misunderstanding completely what Master Chief is in the greater context of the story and even in the games. He's looking at it from a very outsider perspective, and refusing to play the video games didn't help because he couldn't understand.
Pablo did actually play them.
Oh,
it was the writers who refused to.
The writers, okay. Oh, well, that changes my perspective a bit there, actually, because I was under the impression that he didn't. So he actually did play the games.
Yes. He at least tried playing the first one. He didn't do well, according to himself.
Listen, Pablo, I would have played it co-op with you to help you get through it if it was that hard. Criminy. But seriously, like, you gotta, like, part of acting is putting your balls in the line, you know. Beating a game, I don't even care if you'd have to turn it down to easy. Just so you can understand what happens in the story of the video game is all I ask. Turn it down to easy if that's what it takes. Because you're, you know, too much of a boomer to play it. Whatever, not a big deal. That's what the setting's for anyways. But criminy.
If nothing else, it would allow you to put yourself better in the position of Master Chief. But again, a little bit further down where he's in the process of taking off his helmet because, you know. He says, so that at the end, we put him in a situation where his memory's been erased. He's got these emotional pelts that inhibit him from his emotional life, that takes out from the beginning, and is a process of him discovering humanity for the first time. This, he says, right after saying, was attempting to humanize this character that had never been humanized before.
Yep.
That's a very interesting sentence to me, because, again, to him, he is doing the character a favor. From his point of view,
he's
humanized, like, yeah.
That's what he thinks.
He looks at Master Chief and goes like, "Oh, you're just a blank canvas, right, for people to project themselves onto." And yeah, he is, and that's the point. That's the entire idea of Master Chief. Like, a character doesn't have to have an emotional journey to be cool. And this is the same problem again that we have with Leia, this fundamental misunderstanding of the substance of a character. Leia is feisty and rebellious. Yes, she backtalks Vader. She grabs weapons and fires at stormtroopers. She's a fighter. Yes, but that does not translate into insolent asshole kid that runs away in the middle of a goddamn kidnapping attempt.
Yeah.
Placing everyone in danger and just acting like an insufferable little shit. Simultaneously, humanizing Master Chief doesn't mean giving him a love story with a throwaway lore-breaking side character that dies the moment Pablo's had his dick in her.
Yep, because she's fulfilled her plot point. She's no longer relevant anymore. Because Pablo Schreiber has been humanized, so to speak.
Yes.
No longer useful. And it's just bad writing. Like, the whole thing is a disaster. And one thing that I will say that I don't personally think it's the best defense, but it's one of those devil's advocate thing. Is Pablo Schreiber probably is defending his work on the show, not just for his own sake, but for the team. Because when you're part of a development team and your thing sucks, like, you try to stick up for everybody because you don't want to be that guy on the team that threw everyone else under the rug. So maybe it's a sense of honor, obligation.
I mean, in part, I'm sure he's doing this as well because it is his job. Duh. Like, he's the main character of this TV show. Obviously, he's going to try and speak well of the TV show, obviously.
He has to.
He does come across as someone who just doesn't get it. Like, the picture beneath him and McKee staring lovingly at one another, both blank-faced.
That's a complete misunderstanding of Master Chief's character. And this will tie back to, and again, I bet it was greenlit by 343, because this has been a fundamental issue of Halo for a long time. The need to humanize Master Chief did not start here, sadly. It started at the beginning of the new trilogy with Halo 4. They started humanizing Chief, and that's where we begin to see the cracks split. We begin to see what was established before be absolutely destroyed by people who have inherited something they never built, that they never needed to respect the audience for. And so they could twist it and warp it into what they wanted.
Because, and he even straight up says that. In the picture below again, where Master Chief's holding one of those stupid alien pistols thing, Schreiber declares, ultimately, for me, my goal is to make really good art, right? So I don't want to just make a massive video game adaptation or a really cool and interesting sci-fi show. I want ultimately to make a television show that can fit into the landscape of great TV, of all the great TV that's out there. And there is the fundamental problem. Again, I don't think he's doing this out of malice. I think he is thinking to himself, okay, but surely we can do something better than stupid shooty pew-pew guy, right? Well, first and foremost, that's not for you to say. It's simply not. Like, Pablo Schreiber is not on Team Halo because he doesn't want to make Halo. He says it himself. He doesn't want to just make a video game adaptation or a cool and interesting sci-fi show. He wants to make art. And nobody looks at Master Chief and goes, yes, tell me about your emotions, please.
Oh my god, that's a fundamental misunderstanding of the word art as well. See, what makes art is very subjective to begin with. So by inherently making a wonderful TV show that's accurate to the lore, that's accurate to what the fans want, and create something like that, that is art in of itself. That is a fundamental. That excuse does not fly. That is either that or that's a completely fundamental misunderstanding of what art even is.
It's because his perspective of art in a TV show is something high-minded and floaty and humanic. And to him, art is McKee and Pablo Schreiber staring at each other, open-mouthed like that. I love that picture. Because he captures Halo so perfectly. You've got two characters just gormlessly gaping at each other, and you're like, what the
My goodness. Yeah. No. That also is a fundamental misunderstanding of what deep is. Like, what is deep then? Is it not deep that in what Halo's lore is, how they created the Spartan 2s and the Spartans to begin with, was they took, orphans and children to basically force them to be these killing monster machines. The reason why Chief isn't what you would say an ordinary human mentally is because of what they did to him. But thanks to what they did to them, he became the person he needed to be in order to do the things he needed to do to save humanity from extinction. High-minded concept, my fucking ass.
And again, it is the fundamental misunderstanding of what the character is doing because they don't care. Here, this is a perfect example to bring it back to Star Wars, because both of these shows are doing the exact same thing in the exact same erroneous way. If you go down, there's a little bit of a hyperlink there in the paragraph.
In Indie Reviews? IndieWire Reviews?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. So they're saying there, telling the Organos that he must stay on Tatooine instead of going after Leia's kidnappers. So they're talking about Leia's been kidnapped, and the Organos are like, Obi-Wan, you're the only one who can do this because our endless coffers, our military and imperial connections, they're out to dinner or something.
Yep.
Yeah. So he says, like, I can't do that. Like, I have a mission here, and that's literally that. This is my job. This is my part of the mission. You're watching after Leia. And I'd like to point out as well, you're sitting there in an air-conditioned palace on one of the richest world in the fucking galaxy. I'm working at a tuna factory. You don't get to tell me that I have to come and rescue you now, right?
That's true.
But then, the beautiful part is, okay, telling the Organos they must stay on Tatooine instead of going after Leia's kidnappers. To their credit, Bail and Bria, the Organos, do not call Master Kenobi a sexist to his face, but he takes a little too much convincing to risk his life for Anakin Skywalker's other kid.
What do you... That's, again, another fundamental misunderstanding of what Obi-Wan agreed to do. Obi-Wan's responsibility is Luke. He would never leave Luke Skywalker because it's his job to look and watch over him. It's Organa's job to watch over Leia. Only one person here fucked up. By Obi-Wan going and fucking looking for Leia, now we have put both Skywalkers in jeopardy. That is a double failure. That isn't a win. This writing is bad, and it hurts my soul to even talk about it.
And it goes on as well, because this is the Disney viewer's perspective, right? Obi-Wan is only biding time until he can train the boy in the ways of the Force, because him watching over Luke is a thinly veiled excuse. You see, it's not his mission. He hasn't spent the last 10 years working at the tuna factory to do this. He hasn't been watching as the galaxy falls apart around him as a part of a plan. He is just sad Obi-Wan, who does sad Obi-Wan things for no other reason than to be sad Obi-Wan. That is the point of the Obi-Wan TV show.
They've destroyed his character, too. He's a master Jedi, okay? He is already... cut himself off from the Force. He's already, which is ridiculous. He's also in a bout of depression. His emotions are ruling him, by the way, in this show. When he gives to that clone trooper out of pity, out of compassion, whatever, that is him giving in to his emotions. That is against the Jedi code. This shit, silly, stupid.
And I want to point out, too, original Obi-Wan, when he first meets Luke, he's almost a bit of a playful recluse. Like, he's not depressed. He hasn't given up. He's not hateful or negative. He comes across as kind of positive, in fact. You know, he trains Luke. He plays with her. This is not the droid you're looking for, etc. He comes across a bit of little esoterical, in a way.
The same way he was during the Clone Wars, yeah.
Yeah, precisely. Whereas this Obi-Wan is just sad Obi-Wan. For no other reason than to be sad Obi-Wan. And he has to be rescued, basically, by Leia. Because that's what's happening here. He is like, I'm not the Jedi Knight you knew. And he had to be dragged out of his stupid little house to save Leia, who gets into a contrived problem for no goddamn reason that the Organos refuse to solve on their own.
Yep. I do like how they just give up looking for their daughter. Like Bail Organa. Freaking Bail Organa gives up. Is like, man, whatever, I can't do it. You're like, Bail Organa, you have access to Alderaan, like, intelligence agents and all sorts of, like, special operatives. And you're also, like, quasi-supporting, like, the Masazi, or I think the Masazi group, or one of the rebellion groups. Like, don't you fucking tell me you don't have resources, that you don't know what to do. Shut up, show. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god.
And this is, of course, trying to drive us towards the confrontation between Anakin and Obi-Wan. Because that's going to be his entire thing now. He needs to face Anakin. Because he's completely surprised. Like, what? Black Jedi chick? Are you telling me Anakin is still alive? Come on. First and foremost, there is no fucking way that Obi-Wan wouldn't have heard about Lord fucking Vader.
By this point especially, considering how much murder hoboing Vader has done.
Yes, it's been 10 years.
Yeah, Vader has resurfaced. Vader is the fist of the Empire by now. Vader's
Yes.
fist, in terms of his literal legion, is notorious. Everybody knows about them by now.
And there is equally so no way in hell Obi-Wan doesn't connect those dots, because he knows that Palpatine didn't have a second apprentice. He knows there is nobody else but Anakin that could possibly be Lord Vader. And yet he is shocked, like, oh my god, Anakin's alive. Yes. Yes, Anakin's alive. This was not a shock. This was not a surprise.
The worst part of it all. The worst part of it all, right? Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope is great because Revenge of the Sith ends with Obi-Wan and Vader's last confrontation, and then they meet again on episode 4. Now they're gonna meet and fight each other like how many times? Which is going to completely devalue their fight before. It's kind of like the Clone Wars TV show. Like, I love it to death, but the Clone Wars TV show ruined Dooku as a character. It ruined General Grievous. The chip retcon ruined the Clone Wars. Like, there's so many things that just undid everything that made Revenge of the Sith cool, and it's like they're actively trying to undo Revenge of the Sith. It's like everything is trying to undo all those epic fights and all those unique confrontations by just being like, yeah, they fought like 30 times and they're Scooby-Doo villains and they never really died. Like, oh my god, kill me. It's gonna be the same with Anakin and Obi-Wan now. They're gonna have fought like 30 times, and maybe they'll have casualty one of these fights. Like, just they devalue the confrontations,
which again lets us double back to Pablo Schreiber. And the first thing they wanted to do was deconstruct the character of Master Chief. That is exactly what they're doing here. This is Disney's long-term plan. First, they needed to break Luke. They've done. Like, Luke is now a sad, old, pessimistic man who gave up after trying to murder his best friend's son. And his sister's son, incidentally, as well. And then just reclused himself from the galaxy. That's Luke Skywalker now. Obi-Wan's going to go the exact same way. He's not going to have a final confrontation with Vader after decades apart. He's not going to be able to sacrifice himself nobly. All of that, like, last time we fought, I was but the Padawan, whatever, you were the master, now I'm the master. No, they're gonna have fought
that
each
line
other
means
already.
nothing now because of that.
Yep. Because we're deconstructing the character.
When we last faced each other, I was but a learner, but now I am the master. That means nothing now.
Yep. And the chat's pointing out too, you assume Vader isn't getting cucked by the new powerful third sister. I swear to G, I can see it happen. I can absolutely see Raven or Raven or Reva or whatever the hell her stupid ass name was, sassing Lord Vader. I can see it, and that too will undercut Leia, because the only reason Leia got away with sassing Vader was because he couldn't kill her. That was Leia Organa. That was a princess. He couldn't just kill her. Third sister doing the same is going to be presented as, oh look, she's just as strong as Leia, except she should have been killed already. Like, the High Inquisitor himself should have already stabbed her. But no, she's undoubtedly going to sass fucking Vader.
Like, the first time she fucking did that, she should have been demoted because she allowed a Jedi to escape. The second time, she should have been beheaded. Like, there was zero reason for him to give her, like, 4 chances just to be stabbed through the chest by a so obvious betrayal. I'm gonna show up alone. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna go fight Obi-Wan. Watch and learn as I turn my back to you. And then get stabbed through the chest. It's like, how could you? It's like, shut up, dude. Oh my god, it's terrible. I'm actually impressed how bad Obi-Wan is. Like, it is so bad, it's unfathomable. I did not even think it could be that bad.
And I want to point out as well here, right? Lord Vader was ready to kill anyone who knew that he was Anakin.
That's true.
Anyone. Like, he was about to kill Thrawn for knowing, for even suspecting that he was Anakin. Yet this chick knows for a fact who he is?
Yeah, she'd be dead. She'd be dead. Because nobody can call him Anakin, because to him, Anakin Skywalker is dead. He killed Anakin because he views himself as Vader. So yeah, you're absolutely right. She can't be like, Anakin Skywalker knows you're... Shut up. Shut up, show. Shut the fuck up. Oh my god. This show is, like, and the fact that I've seen people go like, it's not that bad. Shut up. It's friggin' horrible. What it does in terms of continuity to the Star Wars universe is it even takes the established movie canon and just dances all over it more. I mean, to be fair, Disney's been doing this with everything they've been doing anyways, but it's just they're shitting on the film lore, which is nothing new. They're shitting on their own lore, which is hilarious in and of itself. It's just awful. There's nothing redeemable about this show. Not a damn thing.
No, there really, actually, genuinely is not. And the interesting thing is too, even the most optimistic little shits, even the mainstream, can't quite get excited for this. Like I was looking around, how many idiotic articles are there out there talking about how this is so amazing? Nobody has anything but half-hearted praise. Nobody can help themselves from mentioning the awful chase scenes where Leia Organa, the 10-year-old child, outruns adults.
Yeah, that's a bit much. That scenes were bad. Those are really bad. I don't want to remember them.
And the you know what the biggest controversy around all of this is, Kyle? You know what the biggest controversy about Obi-Wan is?
What?
This.
Let's see what this shit is. Fans call it Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't... Oh my god. I can already see the headline. I haven't even opened this piece. Shut the fuck up, website. Oh my god. Go. No! No! Continue to say. Well, I'll just read the headline. It says, fans call it Obi-Wan Kenobi's opening scene after Texas school shooting. Shut the fuck up. Okay, that's not even an issue. This has already been canon since fucking, like, Order 66 happened. Disney's actively trying to avoid this, like, almost all the time. I'm surprised they even showed it in this shit show. And it was really bad.
They actually put a disclaimer on the show retroactively saying some scenes might be disturbing.
Are they gonna do that to Revenge of the Sith now? Oh, it's like, oh, you know the scene where Anakin shows up and slices up the children? Yeah, it might be disturbing. It wasn't disturbing before? No.
And what I hate the most too is this is something that these little cocksuckers have started doing recently. Fans call Obi-Wan Kenobi opening scene tone deaf after Texas school shooting. Hold on, this has nothing to do with the Texas school shooting. Nothing whatsoever. This is a established scene that has been out for years and years and years
almost
and goddamn
decade.
Years.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, tone. How could you release it as if they finished this episode just hours after the school shooting and went like, damn it, we're just gonna have to keep it in. Now, this was finished recording a year ago. What, you suggesting Disney was like, well, you know, we're planning a school shooting in Texas, so this might be a little tasteless, but keep it in anyways.
I can't believe we have to come to Disney's goddamn defense now after shitting on them. But yes, this is ludicrous. They do not deserve criticism for this. That's putting it in the absolute wrong direction. But these people that are doing this, like you said earlier, these people aren't fucking fans. Piss off. Well, if you like the new sequel trilogy, like, that's fine if you like it. But all that tells me that is you're not a Star Wars fan. Nobody likes that shit. If you love the original shit, you don't like it.
Who's the fans here? Who's the fans? Journalist Daniel Figueroa the Fourth.
What? What?
Yep. Journalist Daniel Figueroa IV went to the world premiere of the show in Anaheim, California. So the most privileged of journo scum imaginable. All right?
A fucking dynasty over there? What the hell? It's not crunchy.
And he was shocked by what he saw. Stormtroopers firing on children and teachers dying to protect their students. That didn't need to be there, said the person who had never seen any of the movies, who had never read any of the history, any of the lore, or anything else.
Yep.
By the way, did you ever get to the actual article? Because you're still on the splash screen on my screen.
No, I give up. This article won't open. Send me something else.
God damn it.
It wants me to disable ad blocker and get a bunch of... I don't even know. I just don't. I hate these articles. Every one of them sent is like, disable ad blocker. I'm not giving you money. I'm not giving you ad revenue.
You can go back to bounding into comics then.
Okie dokie.
But
back to
again,
hate Pablo Schreiber.
This is the issue. This guy goes to the world premiere of the show. This guy is a journalist. Daniel Figueroa IV. I'm just going to repeat that again. Daniel Figueroa IV.
That's a terrible...
Was shocked by what he saw. Like, my God, fuck you. You are not a fan. You have no idea what you're looking at. You have no idea what you're watching. And this is the audience that they are trying to appease. Like, it's the same thing, because the whole geekdom, right? We're currently, as actual geeks, we're looking at this and go like, oh my God, a Halo TV show. Oh my God, Star Wars TV shows. And we've learned better. We've learned that it's probably going to be shit, and yet we can't help but be excited, because for us, this means something. It genuinely does mean something. But the people who are making this, and the people who are acting in it, Pablo Schreiber at least, for them, this means nothing. For them, this is just a thing that exists. Like, they, again, when they see a well-known scene with the Stormtroopers, the Clone Troopers, invading the Jedi Temple, killing everyone inside, they're not thinking, that's a gruesome point in Star Wars history. They're thinking, hold on, Disney, are you doing this because of a school shooting? No.
How brain dead do you have to be to think that? Like, think about it. Think about the low IQ on that person. Oh, they put a scene with children and violence in it, therefore they must have done it because of the Texas shooting and wanted to make profit from the dead children. Despite having, recorded this fucking shit show like a year ago and everything else. And these fuckers are supposed to be critics. You think they would know their goddamn field, wouldn't you? Like, they'd at least know a little bit about how production of film or shit shows like this even work. Nope, not even a faintest idea. Nothing.
No.
I don't know how the show magic we just happened, and then they uploaded it. It's like, shut the fuck. Oh my God. Oh, he's actually a brainlet. He's actually a brain dead idiot. Oh, help me. Should we feel bad for him now? Like, should we not be mad, or should we feel bad?
We should not feel bad.
Like, maybe he's handicapped. Maybe he can't help it. Like, maybe somebody should just take the microphone away from him.
And this is going to continue to happen too, by the way. And this is why I genuinely do defend that Star Trek show a little bit, the whole New Worlds thing, because at least they're trying. Like, besides the first episode, again, which was a blatant PR move, it feels like they are attempting to make a Star Trek show. Now, bearing in mind, that comes after 2 incredibly miserable failures. STD and Picard
Also,
both.
Don't forget about the 3 films they made. That comes after those as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's quite a bit of disasters.
This goes to show how much shit actually has to happen before they start realizing.
But even so, it's a step in the right direction with a step backwards occasionally, and it's like, god damn. Like, it's worth applauding when they do it right, but again, you have to be honest. You need to actually look into it. You need to actually be like, alright, when they do something good, you pat them on the head, and when they do something bad, you smack them. Because the thing is, other people are watching. And while we can't say whatever the Star Trek Season 1 is, because Season 1's already recorded and done. All we can hope is that other shows that are made look and maybe learn from what other shows are doing, their missteps, and maybe, just maybe, we might get a show that isn't ass cancer. It's a big maybe, though.
That's why they need to be beaten up a little bit. That's why they need to be aggressively yelled at. God damn it. It is such a ridiculous thing. And we can, again, that's why you can look at Halo and Star Wars right now and go, yep, these are fulfilling the exact same points. They're doing the exact same thing because the people involved don't understand what they're working with and had no relationship with it either. Other than an antagonistic one, I suppose.
Chet does point out that there was also that Lower Decks cartoon parody of Star Trek. I don't know about you, but I didn't even watch it.
I think you should watch it, Kyle.
I don't want to. I don't want to.
I think you should. Because I think you've deserved it.
That's super funny when we get to that one. Okay.
But the flip side of all of this is that you know what will give you success, what will actually give you positive feedback, is not subverting those expectations, and instead simply giving people what they want, no matter how stupid or simplistic that may be. And I'll go through the super chats, and then you can tell me about V Rising, which is a stupid AI RPG where you play as a cringy-ass vampire, and it is the most popular thing ever, presumably because it's just a good AA RPG where you play as a fucking vampire.
Are you trying to tell me to do things? He's like,
yes.
The honesty. Oh, I can't help but listen to him. Alright, so you want me to talk about the V Rising game?
No.
I thought you said you wanted me to bring it up.
Yes.
Okay, I brought it up.
After the super chats.
Oh, after. Okay. Go ahead.
Glow in the Dark says, Arch, you are responsible for your keep, so if you let him be late all the time, it will fall on your shoulders. It will not. It is his responsibility. Chloe says, I'm going to make a prediction. All the new Disney or the like will have main female character, will have penis envy, and the guys will be dumb muscles with hot bodies. They are doing what they said men did to women in movies, but reverse. I'm a supremacist. Yes. That is what they have been doing, and what they probably are going to continue to do as well. Again, it is good that these people have a double standard, for otherwise they would have no standard at all. Logiday90 says, Keeb's side of the fence is a breeding pen. That's true. My side may be suppressed on occasion, but at least it's not filled with coom.
Hey, that's true. But that's not the point, okay? See, I haven't been suppressed because my channel's actually doing pretty well all of a sudden. So I was like, hey, it's a particularly good month. Then I hear that Barch is having a particularly bad month, and everyone else. And see, avoiding politics like the plague is something that you should consider, maybe.
I cannot be weak like you. I cannot just surrender.
Sometimes it's not even about surrendering. Sometimes it's about escapism. Sometimes you just don't want to deal with all the shit that's happening when you're playing video games. Sometimes you just want a break. Look at that, valid point. Defeated.
Softness.
I got him.
Gentleness.
I won the verbal battle.
And this is one of the many problems in our universe. Going in the Dark says, media subverting expectations by being propaganda. Well, it's not even necessarily propaganda in these cases. Beyond the obvious bait and switch with female characters, it is simply subverting expectations by being shit. And that is the issue. Like, we are making art. Yeah, but we weren't asking for art. Like Grizzly, Disney subverts Star Wars. Fans divert investment from Disney. Get woke, go broke. And there is actually an opportunity right now to inflict some genuine economic harm on Disney, because they have not been doing particularly well. And one of the main things that have been keeping them afloat is the insane income from their theme parks. And with them now potentially losing, I think it's pretty much a done deal at this point, losing their special tax privileges in Florida, suddenly simply not buying any Disney products is going to pinch a lot more on the old pocketbook.
That's good, though, because honestly, I think if Disney dies, I can't think of anything that would suck about that, honestly, at all, really.
Well, I'm sure once they run sufficiently low of money, they'll just start printing it again by releasing the Lion King extended cut Blu-ray 3D edition with never before seen Lion King inflation pornography scenes, and people will still buy it
Ugh.
because they'll be like, "Oh my god, it's the classics!"
That's terrible, Arch. And I don't have a response beyond that, really.
They'll probably like, how many times has the Star Wars box set been released? I'm sure they'll just re-release that another 7 times if they need money.
Oh my goodness. You know what's funny? Alright, you know, you reminded me something I completely forgot about. The Obi-Wan show we watched together last night. That was awful, but there were scenes in it that I didn't quite recognize during Padme's funeral, where the camera showed Jar Jar Binks looking sad and a bunch of other dudes walking there, and the CG looked old. I haven't seen Revenge of the Sith in about a year. I should watch it again because I like that movie. But is that a scene that was in that movie? I just don't remember it.
Yeah, I can vaguely remember it. I think it was there.
Because I was like, did they add a cut scene from Revenge of the Sith to Obi-Wan? Because that'd be a cunty thing to do. Be like, look, it's got things from the movie that we're deconstructing and ruining. Thank you, show.
I'm sure it does, and I'm sure it will. Reality Backhand says, Step 1, Kibbs pay taxes. Step 2, military pays me. Step 3, I send Arch a super chat. How does it make you feel knowing Arch's Nitori addiction is taxpayer funded? Kibbs.
It's okay. I receive a portion of Barch's supers. Keep sending him money and double that rate.
It depends on your work performance.
That was the whip for chat, and that was the whip for Arch. Whipping both. Double time, chat.
The Real Holdsnater says, I'm sorry, but if the human race was in the hands of Pablo's Master Chief, we would be boned. Yes, we would.
Yeah.
But at least we would discover our humanity alongside with it.
Oh, isn't that sweet? Well, I found my humanity along the way, as the planet's glassed.
But at least he's human now.
Yeah, there's always the silver lining, right, Arch? Always the optimist you are. Damn you.
There's always something optimistic. Mark James says, NPC universe did a great Halo 3 NPC fight. At times on 313 is an awesome Chips Dubo scene. I do not know what these things are.
What was that again?
Things.
Say it again.
No, but I can send you a gif of a monkey with a machine gun.
Okay, I'll open it for chat. Where is it?
The Real Holsnator says, I've seen interviews with Navy SEALs and the like. Those guys often, even if they are more emotive than Chief, definitely have a different attitude than civilians. I can see Jacko under the helmet. Well, that's the thing. Like, if you're doing a story about war, it's probably best to focus on the, war.
Yeah. Yeah, it is, isn't it? So you can actually see the war.
It might be wise.
Would be nice,
but
wouldn't it?
He didn't want to just make a stupid sci-fi show, okay?
Oh, shut up about that. I don't care if he didn't want to make that. He can go straight to hell.
Carl's microphone slowly dying in the background.
No, it's because I'm spurging out in my chair. My microphone's not dying. I'm fine.
Mark James, of course, GW would make superfans videos more like super shills and anti-fans. Yes, I did see that, but I'm sure if I were to figure out who the fuck these people are, because I have no idea, I've never seen any of them before, and stalked them a bit on social media, it would be very easy to see that none of them had ever talked about 40k ever before in all due likelihood, but I can't be asked.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. I'd rather do something else, like play a video, work on lore, in your case, work on a video. Literally anything is better than that.
Because it's not like GW cares. At least on the Lord of the Rings videos, you could post in the comments section and be like, I have no idea who any of these retards are. GW closes theirs.
Oh, god damn it.
GW has understood that they don't want to hear from their customers, and so they have already simply just locked the comment section, which is a brilliant move. Ugh. Glow in the Dark says Pablo should be on a soap opera, not a Halo series. I think he would be happier in a soap opera, frankly. Jafar Blade. Kyle, happy Kyle. We did it. Mobius 2. We did it. We memed a sequel into existence. It's time for you to ponder the morb, because it's morbin time.
See, I don't know what this Morbin meme thing is. And every time I see it, I'm like, that's funny, but I feel like if I learn more about it, I'll get mad. And then I did. I learned more about it. It's apparently some shitty vampire Marvel thing that's so fucking... Like, it got memed into popularity. And I hate it, because it's Disney and it's Marvel, which means that it's aiding the worst corporation on the planet. Cursed. Cursed, chat.
It is. And Spider-Man vampires, too, because, you know.
Yeah, that's dumb. I'm gonna morb, Birch. You're gonna make me morb all over you. I don't know what that means.
Me neither. Don't want to know either.
Gonna morb on you, though. I'm gonna morb. Oh, that hurts. Oh, it's Sony. That's just as bad.
Glowy says, forgot to say they must destroy all good characters to replace them. Also, Master Chief, Obi-Wan, and the Jedi are the antithesis of many of these writers and activists, suppressing their emotions so they may fight effectively. That's a good point too. And yeah, they have to destroy the characters first, because if they can't destroy the characters, well, you might be tempted to just enjoy the good ones. Like, why would anyone give a shit about Rey so long as you have Luke? In the same case here, why would anyone give a shit about goddamn baby Leia Organa if you had Obi-Wan? But we don't.
I want to die.
It's a wonderful way of making new characters bad.
It is, and it sucks, and we need to stop it.
But only for you.
Well, I mean, as long as it stops. Still, I'll call that a win.
Logit1090 says, you know the real hero of this story is Palpatine. YouTube. Who is this Luke character you're talking about?
Papa Palpatine. Papa Palpatine is pretty good. And I also like the actor who plays Palpatine in the prequels. Like, he's just awesome. Aw, damn. Oh my god, I just love Revenge so much. There's so many good memes. Literally anything revolving Palpatine is a great meme. Everything. There isn't a damn line he has that isn't memeable. It's kind of great.
Question mark.
I'm not wrong.
Mark James. Pablo Schreiber was set up to be the outdated concept of the Hollywood star. Hollywood is still trying to make Tom Cruise a Julia Taylor's in the age of social media. Well, if he was truly to be the Hollywood star, he would have had a smaller nose. They would have cut it open. Just slash.
But why?
They would have had to. It is too vast. It is too large. It's too powerful.
You're a Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Jay Grants, evening, sirs. Waiting eagerly for hockey finals. Don't worry, Kibbs. At least USA team has a shot for bronze, but hopefully Canada falls and the prize gets to go to sauna once again.
Hockey.
That's cruel and unusual, Kyle. You should care about hockey.
Losers.
That's true.
There, we put him in his place. One. So hot in here.
But now, let's take a pause there. And Kyle, what is V Rising? Is it a hentai game?
Unfortunately for you, no. And fortunate for me, it's a Nito Cheeto action RPG video game where you play as a vampire in a large open world sandbox. Imagine Valheim crossed with Conan Exiles. You go around, you craft, you can build your own vampire castle, you can thrall little dudes to your servitude minions or whatever. You can suck the blood out of people, get powers, become a powerful evil vampire, and it's kind of cool. And the best part about it all, you can host a server, you can play with your friends, and the clans that you can create are up to 10 people. You can then have more people play, and they will create other clans, which will sort of be like PvP. But it's actually kind of cool. There's crafting progression, like you gotta worry about the sun, and when you chop down trees during the night, you want to bear that in mind because there'll be no trees there for shade when the sun comes up. We found that out the hard way. We tested a little bit, and we've added it to our roster. We're gonna force Barch and the rest of the bunch to play it when it gets into the rotation. So it's pretty fun. It's pretty fun, and it's honestly surging kind of like Valheim did. Not as explosive, but it is surging quite a bit. But then again, it took a while for Valheim to truly explode. But it's a nice game, and so it's good. We've got a new game that came out, and it's from Stunlock Studios, and I've heard good things from Stunlock because they made there's this other game. What is it? Battlerite. Never played that, so I can't really comment on it. But people say if you like Battlerite, you'll probably like this too. Yeah, I've informed people about this cool new vidya. See, there's good things. We talk about things that are fun once in a while. Can I suck the seed out of them? No. So it's Minecraft. God damn it, little fucking teddy bear. I'm going to break your little fluffy ears.
And so it's Minecraft. Well, it's Minecraft with a hentai mod if it also has Conan Age of Exiles in it.
Conan Exiles, Age of Exiles. Bad Barch. That is a game in which there's a sex mod. Arch decided to make us download the sex mod. Okay, we tried it when we did it. And then we did it outside, and then an alligator started eating us. It was awkward.
I'm pretty sure this was your idea. Yep, pretty certain.
Look at him, he's trying to deflect.
The interesting part, though, is because the developers have said they didn't expect V Rising to be popular. They're like, why is people playing our video game? That's a good question.
Why is people play? That's kind of tragic that they're like, yeah, we were thinking it would sell a couple copies. Like, damn, that's sad.
Because just looking at it, it doesn't necessarily look like anything particularly impressive. Like looking at the video, it's an ARPG. You hit things with the stick, etc.
It's not gonna blow your mind, honestly. No, yeah, you're right about that.
Particularly revolutionary. Yet here's the thing. It's an ARPG that does ARPG things, and it adds on a little bit of spice here and there. Just a little bit. And you know what? That's enough. In fact, that might actually be preferable. Like, so many things try to be more than what they are. And that's everything we've talked about today. Halo, Pablo Schreiber, tried to be more than what he was, which was a man with a very large nose trying to act as a dude. It's a rip-off of a Space Marine. Simple.
Barch, what have I told you? He's like, Barch don't like Halo.
He wears Space Marine armor, and he carries a small bolter. That's all he needs to be. It's that simple. And same with Obi-Wan. All Obi-Wan needed to be was Obi-Wan doing Obi-Wan stuff on Tatooine. Maybe he could chase down some local smugglers, some local gangers who were taking money from the blah blah blah
from
family.
Owen's farm, yeah.
Yeah, Owen's farm, yeah. Something simple, like he's watching over. I keep wanting to say both Luke and Anakin simultaneously because silly family relationship. He's watching over Skywalker and some ruffians come because Tatooine's not supposed to be a particularly nice place, mind you. Also, that's another thing they got wrong. Tatooine in Obi-Wan, there's just a bunch of poor, nice people like, why's the Empire oppressing us? We're just poor moisture farmers. No, Tatooine's a pretty shit place. It's a pretty shit place. It's got heavy-duty corruption. It's got criminals. It's got gangs. It's got Tusken Raiders. Just have somebody threaten Luke. Have it be a criminal organization or sand people or whatever, and have him step in and do that. There you go. There's an Obi-Wan adventure. Or maybe if you're really going to push it, force him to go off-world to look for something derpy. Like, not Leia Organa, but you can make excuses. The problem is they didn't go for that. Instead, Pablo Schreiber wanted to make art, and Obi-Wan, I'm pretty sure, you know what's the thing here? Ewan McGregor is not that good of an actor, okay? He's an okay one, but he's not good enough of an actor to constantly look so very sad. That is just his actual emotions as he was acting as Obi-Wan. Like, I can't believe my character's being dragged through the mud like this. Lip quivers.
Wow. Big sad. But I'm not sad.
That's what
because
happened.
it's shit. Thing is, Ewan McGregor's acting is great. But the thing is, it doesn't matter if it is or isn't. Because if you have a shit script and shit to work with, there's only so much an actor can do with a shit script. Like, Ewan McGregor was good in, when he actually got some chances to be, silly and do his little quirky things that he does. Like, especially with the Jawa. The Jawa was probably like the only time where the show was somewhat not miserable
Funny.
to watch. Yeah. Basically.
Like, it had a joke. Like, if you're going to steal my part, at least watch them. And he just looks at him confused. And for a moment, you think maybe he's ashamed. Then he's like, watching costs extra.
He's not even ashamed. He's not.
And again, you don't need to do this. Looking at V Rising, again, I haven't played it, so I'm just going to take your word that it's fun. I'm looking at, like, the story trailer. It's the most cliched story trailer in the history of cliched story trailers. The vampires were assholes, and the humans were like, we don't want to be oppressed no more, and they rose up against the vampires, and the vampires were like, God damn humans, how did you dare do this to me? And they had to go hide, and now they're returning. Like, yes, I have seen this story many, many, many times, and yet I don't care.
Well, the thing is,
if that story can be conductive to a good video game, then that's good enough. You don't need to reinvent the wheel every single time.
That's true. But for this game, I would say it's not going to blow you away, but it's one of those games, like, you pick up like 3 copies with friends, or get your entire friend group to play it. It's a good game with friends. Like, it's really that simple. If you enjoyed playing things like Valheim, you're probably going to enjoy a game kind of like this. Like, it's got decent boss fights. They're not amazing, but they're better than Conan Exiles, but that's not saying much. But it's entertaining, and I think it's well worth the asking price, which wasn't too steep. A meager $20 dues. Not so bad, honestly. All this stuff down here is just cosmetics. You don't need that.
I also want to point out the recent Star Wars game, Jedi Knight or whatever the hell it was called, the one with the painfully generic protagonist.
Oh, Jedi Fallen Order. Fuck. They're making a sequel. They just announced.
I know.
I hate that.
They are. Because it was super popular.
I hate that
it was
game.
Super popular? It was super popular because it was just okay. And that was all it needed to be.
No, I hate it.
That is enough, because people are so goddamn starved for Star Wars or Halo or whatever. That's just okay.
If it's
that can just not piss on them.
Like, the thing about Fallen Order that I hate so much is, number one, it's just a Souls game, boring, and on top of that, your force powers aren't even force powers. Like, the bosses you fight get force powers. You get, like, little, I can slow time for a little bit, but if he does any other attack that doesn't get stunned by that one force power I have, it's completely useless. Fuck off, game. Fuck off, game. Go straight to hell. I would rather have the Jedi Academy games. Give me those. Those are the Jedi games. This Jedi Fallen Order shit, garbage. Garbage. And the casuals that like it, garbage people. Get in the garbage too.
Good enough is good enough.
It's not,
because we don't have good
enough
anymore.
It wasn't good enough to begin. It wasn't even okay. It was bad. Bad.
Good enough is good enough.
The simps. I can sense them in the ethos of the farce.
Good enough.
It's not good enough.
Good enough is good enough.
It isn't, when the standards before were so high.
Yes, but that is before. So I'm saying I had a good apple 5 years ago. Ever since they've tasted like garbage. Yes, and here's an apple that tastes slightly less garbage.
If you like chat, they're like Fallen Souls? Elden Order? Yes, shit, yes!
It doesn't need to be that hard. It really
oh god,
doesn't.
Drigby, no!
Just don't try to subvert expectations. Instead, look at the expectation and go, hold on, what if I just Give people what they expect.
Give me shit.
Man,
No.
suddenly they like the thing. It's weird. Ugh, awful. Anyway, moving on with the super chat. Reverend Norse, is there any lore in 30k or 40k about blanks or Freya becoming Space Marines? Is it even possible with the esoteric nature of the gene seed? Not that I've heard of, at least. Then again, the Sisters of Silence are all blanks, so there you go. I mean, they're basically Space Marines. They've got Space Marine armor, and they're like gene enhanced and shit. Yeah, close enough. Close enough.
I do like the apple
Close
comparison they're making. A rotted apple isn't good enough unless you are literally dying. But nobody needs a generic EA game to live. That's true. Good enough is not good enough.
Yeah, that not good enough is good enough. If you're starving,
you've been defeated. Chad is rising up. They're rising up against you. It's over.
Was starving, and the rotten apple was handed to them, and they grabbed it with both little dirty hands, and they shoved it down their holes. Simply how it works.
Simply how will be defeated.
Mr. Frenzy, hey Arch, any chance you'll review the game V Rising? No.
He's going to play it, but I don't know if he'll review it.
Too many other things at the moment, tragically. Too many other things. Mark Shamed, Sonic Strange New Worlds started with January 6. It did. And that was the PR move, where it's like, this'll get us some controversy, and it did. It succeeded. Like in Kiwi. Or Arch can just bring politics to Kibbs' channel. I do my best to try and bring him to the light.
We have to shut Barch down many times. She's like, should Pouty squeak, similar like bonk.
I managed to bring up school shootings with Eco last time. You didn't even notice.
There are like several lumps on your head. You can't. He's like, I don't feel so good today. It's probably because all the lumps you had. It's all catching up to you.
I was talking about how children didn't deserve to live, and I agreed.
True. Nobody deserves to live. They have to work for it in the mines. A
crafty Huragok says, "A balls or no balls on your footer?" No balls, of course. That's not even a question. Like, that's a stupid one. Like, yes, no.
Why would you even?
Obviously.
Why would you take something with a cock in to begin with? That just means you're gay, Barch.
Because you don't have a choice, Kyle. If you're gonna get raped, would you like to be inseminated?
Barch, I'm not gonna be raped because I'm armed.
This isn't the problem. Like, you're already broken down on the ground, Kyle. Like, your cheeks are already spread. Your arms are already tied. Your only choice now is, would you like to be seated or not?
The thing is, this is never gonna happen to me because I'm armed. Unlike you, Barch, you filthy European, you can't defend yourself.
This is the problem. It's like, this is unrealistic. I don't care. You'll be filled with seed.
I don't. That's not an argument. It's like,
Kyle will argue that this is a highly unrealistic course of events, even as he gulps up the cum, just burps it out.
That's not gonna happen.
Even as he felches violently, he's going to say to himself, "I object."
I object. Barch, see, I'm never gonna be caught with my pants down. You, on the other hand, have a history of being caught with your pants down. Yes, true.
Mr. Coconut 132 says, "Yes, sometimes I want to play games need garbage food, while Rome burns and all. Oh, if you have no other options." Hey, McDonald's is the largest food chain on Earth. Good enough is good enough. In fact, good enough is the gold goddamn standard.
I can't believe you're setting your standards so low, Barch. You wouldn't do this if this was Company Heroes.
McDonald's fucking serves like 2% of all the meals in the world, and their food is so laced with chemicals it doesn't even die right. It's zombie hamburgers, okay? Shadowfox 2300 says, "Here, a little more taxpayer money comes of the US Army, and now Arch is government funded." The US Army. I look forward to it collapsing in on itself as it becomes fat.
You're weak, Barch, and when we annex your filthy, weak nation, you'll be sad.
You can't even annex Taiwan.
We're gonna wreck several McDonald's around your house as punishment for your sins.
We have like one in Oslo. It's the one McDonald's in a country, and it just sits there like sad.
Don't worry,
We're not
we'll
like
arrest
Sweden
them.
where there's one every 50 feet.
They can't go
Generally,
2 feet.
because we have good food, and we like look at McDonald's, go like, "Wow, you eat this? Yeah, why? I'm poor."
See, McDonald's isn't good fast food. You stop at high-class places like a fine establishment of Arby's. Yes.
Arby's, yeah, we don't have those here because we have actual food.
See, or a Culver's, or something slightly nice. Not
We don't have that either.
McDonald's.
See, this is the thing. Like, the only thing we have here in Norway that's even vaguely comparable is like there's a Burger King in my nearby town, which is populated by old people. They're the only ones who go there, and it's just because they don't have to speak to people. Like, it's populated entirely by immigrants who work the kitchen, and they've set up this little doodad out front where the old people press in their orders and the food comes to them, and it's so they don't have to interact with the immigrants because old Norwegians are highly racist. And with good reason.
That's kind of funny.
And the thing is, they're racist against everyone. They're not racist because of skin color. They're racist because you're from a different town than them. Like, my grandmother used to go on long talks about how everyone who lived south of here were just the worst. They were scoundrels. They were thieves. They were everything you could possibly imagine. Then you add in a Turk, and they're like, okay, well, that's definitely south of here.
That's definitely south.
Simultaneously, the people to the north too were gypsies and thieves as well. People to the east, same. People to the west, definitely same. Like, this was harder. This is why we need more old people. Only old people should be allowed to vote.
Old people.
Yep. If you're not 70, you don't have voting rights.
It's true.
We'd reintroduce closed borders in like 5 minutes, barbed wire fences everywhere, machine gun posts. Like the Saudi Arabia border.
Oh, the best kind of borders are the ones armed with cannons and walls.
Black 1917 says, trying a new recipe, corn mixed with beans. Terrible. He also says, EA killed those standards, Kyle. Yes, Kyle lives in the past. He's an ignorant.
I don't live in the past. There are plenty of new games that are good that come out every fucking once in a blue moon. We have Deep Rock Galactic. We've got Factorio. We've got Earth Defense Force. We have so many. Uh-oh, I got the hiccups.
He's sitting there like, back in my day when I was but a wee fetus, we had gooder gamers. Yes, Kyle. Yes, Grandma. Yes.
That's literally the other year, you monkey. He's like, it was last year. Might as well be back in the 1800s. Oh my god.
Drag B says, have a feeling Kibbs wanted a Force Unleashed game. Disgusting.
Force Unleashed. As a game, it was fun to play. As a Star Wars thing, it was fucking cringe. Oh my god. That was before Disney, too. It's like, that's where the one where he just like grabs a Star Destroyer and just rips it out of the fucking atmosphere. It's like, that looks cool, but that's really stupid. Oh, special.
Black 1917 says something intelligent. Don't subvert expectations, exceed them. That's a very good way of looking at it, yes. Subverting expectations, god damn it. That was one of those catchphrases Hollywood caught on to and went like, hold on, this will be an excuse for everything. Yeah.
It's just a purely negative connotation around it. Like, it's not even funny anymore.
Like, subverting expectations in a good way is when you clear Fable for the first time and you realize that the final boss isn't actually the final boss at all, there's actually a story beyond that. That was like, oh my god, I didn't expect that. Now subverting expectation is Pablo Schreiber taking off his helmet and telling you about his fucking humanity.
Surprise, motherfucker.
Drag B says, I give the advantage to the Northman over Cat Trap. So does everyone with a half-functional brain. Batdad, I brought V Rising on Kibb's recommendation to offset me getting a CD key for HBS Battletech on Kibb's anti-recommendation.
That's not true. Thing is, HBS Battletech, I said don't buy it on what you call it. You did what I told you, you monkey. I said don't buy it at the retail because it's overpriced with its DLC, and then get the mods. Bad, liar, bad.
Yeah.
And you do what I tell you. Good. Good liar.
HBS Battletech was alright.
It's
Like,
okay,
it was
but it's
fine.
overpriced for the expansions, though. If you want to get the
It does
expansions,
what it
get
needs
them on
to.
sale.
Even though, again, it's like, we don't have pronouns, we have body types, and like, I'm a Muslim engineer. I'm a female Muslim engineer. Yes, I know.
See, if they wanted to have a Muslim engineer and make it interesting, she could be from one of the Caliphate worlds, where they treat women like shit, because there are literal Caliphate worlds.
The worst part is that it had a linear storyline. That was the problem with Battletech.
It was a linear, bad storyline.
There needed to be an opportunity to just shoot that goddamn princess and side with delicious brown girl instead.
Kamea, or whatever her name was, and it's just Espinosa. I remember that. God damn it. See, I didn't like Espinosa either, because she's like, I'm mad and angry all the time. It's like, okay. And the other character's like,
good. That's just feisty.
I'm justice. It's like, okay, you're both planks.
Yeah, but you'll get to tame the Espinosa. I didn't like to, like, because originally, the Espinosas had a really good argument for rebelling, and then immediately the next mission, after having this good argument, they're like, so, we set up, concentration camps where we just kind of killed civvies for shits and giggles, like... Yeah, you had a subtle villain there, and then they were like, yeah, I might fine, Sayuden.
Yeah, that was retarded. The complete tonal shift that went through. It's like, no, we need to do this because we know that there's a war coming, which is true. The Fourth Succession War is on the horizon, right? And then like, well, actually, I just did it so I could put everybody I didn't like into a concentration camp. And it's like, wow, lowbrow writing, brain dead antagonist.
Did you know the Goemons did this too? Yes, they learned it from the British.
They learned it from the British. Damn.
Who unironically pioneered this idea during the Boer Wars, where the Boers kept, living with their families. And so the Brits were like, that's playing unfair and downright unsportsmanlike. Starve their families. The Boers were like, come on, that's a bit unfair, mate. Yeah. You gonna surrender? Yeah. Worked then, didn't it?
Anybody who sees the Morbius movie or whatever is actually part of the problem with him. And needs to be put in the camps. I am saying that right now. Right here.
I mean, I don't object to the camps in theory.
Wow.
I'm just saying we need more care with who we put in them.
He's like,
I want anyone who watches the
the
Chippendale Rescue Rangers movie too probably needs to get in
And
there.
we're not putting the Obi-Wan show in there because technically we watch it for reviewing sake. Otherwise we'll be ending up in the camps. We gotta be careful. Slippery slope and all.
I'm like Muhammad. I will receive another vision if it ever affects me.
Convenient visions. That's the kind of prophet
Black
you need
1917 says, Squack and Hail Arch Christ, our Lord and Savior, breed Kibbs. Indeed. Black also says that Tatooine is under hot control with an Imperial presence for the sake of looks. No one on that planet believes the Empire has any real power there. Hell, some don't even know there is an Empire or a Republic for that matter. There you go. Huts. See, swallowed my own breath there. Oh. Now I'm dying.
Nice. Good.
That would be far more interesting to see Obi-Wan go like the Huts. We must exterminate those giant fat slug things. And then you could have camps, but no, he didn't do that.
But
tragedy. Truly tragedy. Black 917 says, none of the games you mentioned are Star Wars, Kyle.
That's true.
That's
but
true.
I don't know why that's even a point of contention. We were talking about what good games are out. Now we want to talk about good Star Wars videos. There aren't a lot, sadly. Well, there are a lot. They're just all old. That's the sad part.
Davos Aurelian says, your video on Imperial artillery went into depth about range diagrams and trench digging. Good eye for detail. It reminded me of my time in Afghanistan plotting range diagrams and digging foxholes. Like, well, you're welcome, I guess. See, part of me is like, it reminded me of my time in Afghanistan. Like, is this a trauma or were you having fun? Because I can see both.
Having fun. That's not a good song.
I remember we did a video about that one article about a progressive who was like, I was afraid that 40k wouldn't accept my ridiculous communist views, but then I found there's actually tons of fucking communists. And he was the guy who was like, in Afghanistan, I did a lot of horrible things. I'm like, hold on there. You confessing to something? It's like, yeah.
He's like, I became a communist because I understood that they're the only people who will forgive me for the horrible things I committed. Like, damn.
After having shelled the 37th village, communism became the only option.
I got tired of singling out the children and decided to single out the whole family this time. It's like, oh my god.
But that's good. So long as it doesn't, evoke any traumas, then that's a good thing. Mark is low. Hi, Arch. Just want to say thanks for the masterpiece that is the War for Badab series. Just epic. What's next for you? And you'll always be Arch Warhammer to me. Oh, thank you. Well, I am gonna do that historical stuff eventually. It's just I keep expanding my ambitions for that to the point right now I'm doing fully animated backgrounds.
Mm-hmm. If you watch the VTM,
fully animated
or not the VTM,
layers of stuff too, like everything is being bigger and bigger and bigger. I'm like,
yep.
So
the previous Skaven episode, I believe we have it in the background if you skim through it. I think it was that.
Yes. I'll probably do a video introducing that not too long.
It's pretty good.
Black917 says, this is hentai Arch. There's cum with or without balls. You can't escape it. That's incorrect. Cum is in the balls. I know this for a fact.
You know what? We'll let you have that fantasy, Barch. But I understand biology better than you.
Kyle's semen does not originate in his balls.
Look at that. Barch is like, where does the pee come from?
Chat looks at him weirdly. Do you think your pee comes from your balls, Kyle? Because that's weird if you do.
Chat, what do I do? Should I just leave him be? Like,
he urinates with his scrotum. Very well. Black917 says, there was a study done over a decade ago that showed people take longer to decay now than we used to because of all of the preservatives in our food.
That's good.
That's nice. Yeah. 98% preserved food.
Hey, maybe our lives, oh my god, immortality will come from McDonald's cheeseburgers. That's funny.
Black also says, don't forget my Streamlabs donations like last week. I didn't. I've been reading them here. Black.
He likes you to double read them.
We'll rename him soon to something more inhumane.
What's more inhumane than that?
I'll have one complaint about V Rising, though. It's yet another early access game. I swear to God, video games are not developed anymore at all. They're released, that's all, and then they just kind of sit there. Mm-hmm. For God alone knows how many fucking decades.
Yep. I understand. Like, I on one hand, I can understand as a fellow developer, but we didn't go down the indie route. We're deciding to finish the game, then release it. Strange concept, I know, but you can understand why some developers do it, especially if they're indie. In this case, these guys are indie. They're the developer, Stunlock Studios, the publisher, Stunlock Studios. That means that these guys are an actual indie. Oh god, that almost going on a tangent about the fact that so many companies claim that they're indie when in fact they have a publisher. Like, if you have a publisher, you're not indie. Shut the fuck up. Sit down. Be quiet.
I understand the logic behind early access. I just occasionally I would like to play a video game that was, finished.
See, indies, I'll give them this. Yeah, it makes sense for them based on the business model because they don't have a lot of resources and they make up the dividends by, releasing early. But triple A's with publisher stuff going on, like, no. No. They don't get that pass.
And finally, we have Dark Resurrect that says, Squeck and Hail Arch Christ, as much as Kibbs denies it, we all know he wants to be bred by the footer with balls. Seed. Hashtag breed Kibbs.
Wow.
Yes. Correct. He wishes to be overflowed. Kyle has a deep and unending all the way through fetish. It's quite disgusting, yet there it is.
This I doubt, Blondie. I think you're doing what we call telling big fibs. Just a little fib.
It's not rape unless you're vomiting semen. That's correct, Kyle.
I don't know how you got that from what I said, but okay.
Until next time. Thank you all very much for watching and for making it here past Susan's guard. And thank you for all of your generous donations. Oh, Mark James sneaks in at the end. Some early access are better than AAA. That is sadly true, yes.
That is.
Oh, we've got Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel released on Fantasy Ground, that D&D adventure that didn't have combat because it wanted to be an inclusive society. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I refuse. Angrily.
Yeah.
Violently.
No combat.
Starfield's been delayed again, by the way, in case you were wondering.
Why does anybody care? The game's probably gonna be bad. Like, if it's anything like Skyrim or what that other crap they released, garbage. Boring garbage. And
You're such a pessimist. And I am ashamed of you.
I have a highly refined taste. True.
Oh, and Black sneaks one into not live longer, Kyle. Decay slower. Your corpse has a longer shelf life than your average side of beef.
That's good.
Good.
Yeah.
It means if cannibalism ever becomes necessary, storage will be easier.
Yeah, this is a good thing.
But now, again, thank you all very much for watching and for your super generous donations. And we will see you probably again next week. I am feeling a wee bit under the weather this day, so RP is probably off. I'll see how I'm feeling tomorrow, but I'm not feeling great. I think I might finally have gotten the initial stage of that Wu flu everyone's been so interested in, because me body be pain.
Yeah, you should go to bed after this.
No. I'm going to go and have a shower. Then lie face down in my bed, hoping to stop breathing at some point.
What a little sad lad you are, goddammit.
My neck hurts. My shoulders hurts. My legs hurt. Only thing that doesn't hurt really is my nether regions.
That's funny.
Glow in the dark keeps subverts expectations and finishes his games. Never.
Damn, right in the
And Crafty Huroguk, what do you think about the Black Templars killing off the primarily and some customers in the new book? Some customers? Primaries and custodians, I'm assuming. I think it was good, and I think they deserved it. Now, I'll end the stream. Thank you all